Hey everyone, so I have been traveling overseas recently, and when you're traveling, you get your choice of lots and lots of movies. It's an overwhelming number of films to pick. I, after much contemplating, chose three films to watch, and I'll review them all in one foul swoop right now. First film I saw was Men in Black 4. A lot of the criticism about this film was that Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith were irreplaceable, and there's no reason to make the franchise without them. Well, the big news is that there's no reason to make a part 4 of 95% of films today, and I think that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones aren't that essential. I mean, basically that straight man, funny man dynamic is, Rush Hour, 21 Jump Street, Laurel and Hardy. I mean, it's been done forever. So I think that Chris Hemsworth is a very charismatic guy. He's probably my favorite of the four Chris's, and I think he got the PG. This is a sort of a PG-ish franchise. It's violent, but not malevolently violent. And I think that there's a certain more of an Indiana Jones rather than the James Bond feel to the character that Chris Hemsworth plays. It's a film that I think really, it's about Barry Sonnenfeld's vision of this world of aliens that exist in plain sight of us, but we just forget it every time we encounter them. I think that's an interesting concept. It's visually drawn out in these, non-geometric, abounding aliens of all kinds of different sizes, and I think this film, has a reason for existing. I'll say that. I think it's, on paper, it kind of seems good. The main problem with the film was that it wasn't that funny. I just think probably could have used a touch-up of the script, and some of the jokes didn't land that much, and it just wasn't even an effort to make a lot of jokes per minute. But it's definitely a world that really needs expanding. I also saw Lucy in the Sky and Ad Astra, which are two other films about space, and this is kind of fun because I'm going to go against the mainstream here, and I think Lucy in the Sky is actually underrated and Ad Astra is overrated. So let's start with Lucy in the Sky. A lot of times people fall in traps of comparing the films to their source material. I've seen Good Omens and Where Do You Go, Bernadette, also way back in the Da Vinci Code, to people being like, well, I like the book, or I like the whatever, I like the real life story better. It's Noah Hawley, the first-time director of Lucy in the Sky, publicized very well that the story about an astronaut who got caught up in a love triangle and drove 900 miles nonstop in an attempt to kidnap another astronaut, becoming the first and only felony of a astronaut in the space program. This wasn't meant to be a real-life story. I thought the film was a little Darren Aronofsky-esque. It explored kind of just a person losing their mind, and it explored the inner life of the character and balanced it well against the outer life of the character. And it was a film with not too flashy of a performance by Natalie Portman, and it was a film that it probably wasn't the most innovative or original or profound film, but each action and each scene had me engaged enough to want me to see what was going to happen next. And that's pretty much what you can ask for a film, to work on that level. And then beyond that, whatever happens, happens. So then, lastly, let's talk about Ad Astra, which is a film that is getting a lot of raves, but I think is overrated. Brad Pitt is hot at the moment, and he's at the center of this film, and the movie is about a guy who's a great astronaut trying to find his dad, who was like the best astronaut ever in the history of this particular sort of dystopic universe, and who sacrificed his son and family. And I guess it's talking about, the responsibilities of modern man and inner doubt. But the film tries to have its cake and eat it too with this annoying monologue that Brad Pitt keeps having. He keeps saying things like, these people are talking. So he's like, some of his monologue is expository, and some of his monologue is just platitudes that like would make Jack Hanley, that Saturday Night Live character, just like vomit. He's like, we all there was like we all hide all of our lives. We think we spent most of our lives hiding was one of the ones I tried to remember for the sake of this review. And the film, I think one strength of this, like Men in Black, is that this film has a great world building. It creates a setting that you want to know more of. Like I could probably see a TV show being set around this kind of world where we've kind of explored the end of the solar system and we're not sure what kind of life is out there, and there's this mysterious surges coming in, and this guy is trying to live in the shadow of his father. For all of Brad Pitt's good performances in the past decade and a half, I don't believe this is one of them because this is not an interesting character. But I think people want to like Brad Pitt so badly these days, and that they'll take it. They're kind of like filling in the gap in their own imagination. The film has a few moments that are interesting. I mean, Brad Pitt's character is vulnerable, and I think people kind of like that masculine vulnerability that's kind of interesting. But the film is begging you to embrace its slow spaces and dead time. It's a film that's about maybe an hour and 55 minutes long, and it feels like it's a film that could be an hour and 30 minutes long, and it's trying to make some poetic use of its dead time that I found a little bit obnoxious. So yeah, I think Lucy in the Sky deserves another chance. Ad Astra, I think you could skip, but other people will probably say you should see it, and I'm not saying it might be an issue of personal taste. And Men in Black, I think you already know where it stands. Alright, thank you.